I am Kurian George, who is an electrical engineer, retired from the State Electricity Board of Kerala in India. I am a researcher also. I have started the research work on Newton's third law of motion, that is, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. It can be derived from that law. There cannot be a torque without an anti-torque. That is what Newton's law, the derived principle is that. If that is the case, whenever you require a torque, the anti-torque comes. The anti-torque also takes away a lot of energy. That is really a system of inefficiency, just like what is happening in helicopters. In helicopter, the anti-torque is prevented by using a tail and rotor for nullifying the anti-torque on the helicopter body. Here I have developed a free torque. Free torque is defined as a torque having no anti-torque at all. If such a torque is available, we can avoid or eliminate the unnecessary anti-torque energy loss. Here I have developed a machine utilizing the principles of gyroscope. In the gyroscope, first these two gyroscopes are fitted in a circular platform facing in the opposite direction. It is resting on a tripod through a thrust bearing. It is free to rotate in the horizontal plane. When this gyroscope is rotating, the wheel in the gyroscope is rotating in the x-axis, the gravitational force will be applying in the y-axis in the downward direction. When that happens, in normal case it will not remain in the air because gravity will make it to fall down like this. But when the gyroscope starts working, it will remain in space and it will only come down very slowly due to the development of a moto torque in the opposite direction. In addition to that, there is another torque in the Z, it acts in the Z axis, and that also is developed to moto. It does not have anti-torque at all. That can be proved through these two machines. This is machine number 1, conventional type of machine, which produces torque and it faces the anti-torque. And this is the gyroscopic machine which can develop torque in the Z axis, but it will not be having anti-torque at all. You can call it as the Z axis torque as torque without anti-torque, that is free torque. I will show it by keeping it in the vessel floating on water. Why the vessel is floating on water? Because then it will not be having only slight friction. It will be having. It is free to rotate in the horizontal plane to any direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise. First of all, I am placing the conventional machine on the vessel. We can see that due to the torque developed in the it's a flywheel that is made to rotate through these DC motors, 12 volt DC motors. This is the battery, and when that rotor rotates, we can see the anti-torque developed in the frame that will be transmitted to the vessel, and the vessel is floating on a medium of very small friction. Therefore, naturally, it is free to rotate. We can see that this is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise, like this. Let us see what happens when that rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. The vessel and everything has to rotate in the clockwise direction, that is in the opposite direction. Let us see that. It's rotating in the clockwise direction, just the opposite. But when the gyroscope system is placed, a torque is developed. We can see that there is no anti-torque at all. The vessel will not rotate in the opposite direction. It is free to rotate in any direction, but it will not rotate in the opposite direction. Let us see that, but it will go rotate in the same direction of the gyroscope. That shows there is no anti-torque, and it is rotating in the same direction because there is more friction in the thrust bearing, and due to the brushing effect of the platform, this also is made to rotate at a lower speed, that we can see now. This gyroscope, it will not remain in space. This also will not remain, but when it reaches the speed of 10,000 rpm, around 10,000 rpm, it will remain in space. The gravity, due to gravity, it will not fall down, but it will fall down very slowly. Due to the development of a motor torque, which has motor developed, automatically developed. In addition to that torque, there is an z-axis torque that makes the platform to rotate in the anticlockwise. The rotor is anticlockwise, this also is anticlockwise. We let us examine whether the vessel will rotate in the clockwise direction, the opposite direction, as in the earlier case. It is remaining space. There is an anti-torque or a counter-torque against the gravity. But you can see the vessel also is following suit. It rotates in the same direction. It is not rotating in the opposite direction. This clearly shows there is no anti-torque. This is rotating in the same direction because due to the brushing effect of the thrust bearing, it is rotating with the platform. These two clearly shows that this is a free torque which does not have anti-torque at all. You can see it will start rotating. It will never rotate in the opposite direction. We will keep it in the middle and rotate. Slowly it rotates. That is due to the brushing effect of the bearing. According to Sir Isaac Newton, there cannot be a torque without anti-torque. That is a universally accepted principle or law. But the gyroscopic system and the torque developed in the gyroscope is inconsistent with that principle. I call it as free torque because it doesn't have anti-torque. And this has got very much relevance in the field of studying the Newton's laws of motion, especially third law of motion. And I think more attention will be given to this invention by the world and the scientific community.